Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip here with, Chip. Jeff, as you know, is in Korea, so he's unable to join. Just chatted with him a few minutes ago, but he's not in a spot where he can go live. Otherwise, he would. So today on the podcast, we got a lot of stuff. Bull Run is confirmed. What am I talking about here? Well, markets are surging, but historically, August and September are brutal for gains. We'll just ask Jim Cramer. And then Ripple goes banking. Ripple's OCC banking license application is public. What it reveals could reshape the future footprint. And we have XRP New York City is coming up in November. So if you're not registered for that yet, that's going to be it's happening right around the time of Swell, which is fantastic. Also a great new resource. I don't know if it's new, but it's a great resource to basically shut down the BTC maxis and their denial of XRPL facts. A great way to kind of back it up. The Zahau Ecosystem, some new projects are rolling out. One shot, a cinematic teaser drops. What would you do? Would you mint it or let it slip? It's a big nod to the XRP community. And also Geopolitics. We got Trump launches a new sports council with major legends. His trade strategy vindicated. Media, as always, of course, they doubted him. The Dems are in decline. Gallup, CNN, Wall Street Journal all show really bad numbers for the Democrat Party. Their narrative is obviously cracking. Then you got Kennedy and Robinson. Senator John Kennedy delivers some more zingers. We got Tommy Robinson. The woke fallout. Jaguar CEO steps down. There's just a lot of stuff going on. Cultural chaos, yellow jeans, TikTok meltdown, baby Trump memes. We got it all here. Why? Because, of course, it's the On the Chain broadcast. That's why we're here. That's what we're doing. So thank you all guys all for joining. Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on the Saturday morning, Saturday night, depending where you're coming in from. I don't know if it's possibly, I don't think it's possible to be Sunday morning, but maybe we might be close to Sunday morning. Uphold, drop where you're coming in from. Ray Run says Uphold is issuing their credit for XRP again. That's also very good news. People always say, well, how do I spend you? What are you going to do with crypto? How do you spend it? Well, there you go. That's how you spend it on a credit card, right? Crypto.com has their credit cards. A lot of different ways to spend it. People are like, how do you spend Bitcoin? Well, you can do it on a credit card as well. So that's something. But drop where you're coming in from here. Chad says, tongue punch that like button on your way in. Yeah, it always helps the algorithm if you definitely do that. We definitely like to see that. XRP Life, love to go to Ripple in New York, but I have a hot traffic arrest warrant in New York. Yeah, probably not a good idea to show up there because they'll toss you in the slammer, in the clink, as they say. Let's see, I was kissing me. There we go, XRP plumbing. So drop where you're coming in from, guys. As you make your way in here, of course, we will definitely be talking all things XRP. We'll be talking some Ripple. And of course, we'll get into geopolitics. I think we're like the only podcast on the chain that does geopolitics mixed in with crypto mixed in with geopolitics. We kind of run it about halfway. Also, too, I didn't pull a Yeti per se, but that doesn't mean we can't find one. I will find a Yeti to give away today. It might be a last minute sort of a thing because obviously doing show prep and getting everything ready. Of course, double duty when Jeff's not here. So I will, right now we've got 0 entries for Yeti, but we will be giving one away today. I just got to find out which one and which tribe, but we'll give something away. So that will be a lot in the day. XRP Plumbing says he did a lot of plumbing at Celebration back in the day, which is where Chad is from. In the day, of course. Yeah, I hate that you can't edit those things. But yeah, so XRP, that meetup is going to be right around Swell. And I've just check this out. So for the last 5 or 6 years, ever since Swell's been going on, I have applied to go to Swell. And I've been rejected every year. However, not this year, Satan. This year, I was approved. I will be at Ripple Swell up in New York City. And the Monday night, there's like a dinner type of thing, like a welcome type of dinner. And Swell happens on Tuesday and Wednesday. Then Wednesday night is where the meetup is. I also registered for that. I'm not sure if I'll be making that or not, but it's a good possibility. But you need to get registered. I do have limited space, so I will share that with you guys today. So if you're going to be there, if you're going to be up there, yeah, nice, absolutely. It was kind of a shocker, surprise when I got the email. I was like, I had to read it twice. I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? Approved? So really good too. So really happy about that. It's, I mean, they can only let so many people go. I understand that. And I was really happy to finally be able to be one of those people. So really good. And yeah, it's really cool. So really looking forward to that. My first one, never been to a Swell before. Be something up for the ages. I just wish it was here in Miami, but oh well. I always say, like, guys, because I know Garlinghouse used to have a house. I think he just sold it in Miami recently, but I would just think, like, why isn't Miami a good? I think they have a Miami office too, but I guess New York's more accessible, probably to the Northeast, and almost, there's so much traffic that goes into the airport there. So I totally understand that. There you go. The old joke, Groucho Marx said this, as a matter of fact, I would never join a club that would have me as a member. Yeah, Groucho Marx, famous line right there, a good one. That's true. It's probably a good point, but not necessarily a club, but I get your point there. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a good point, and it speaks a lot to it. So, guys, the good news is the Bull Run is confirmed. How do we know that? I'll tell you how we know. This is how we know right here. Jim Cramer put this up. He says he always despises both August and September. They're just tough months to make money. So cue the incoming bull run, because Cramer is never right about anything. And usually and the last thing you want to do, I saw him endorse, like, was it Cardano or something the other day, and I was like, uh-oh. You never really want him to endorse any crypto per se, or talk about a crypto, unless he says it's going to tank. Then that's good news. That's good, welcome news. But if he thinks it's a good thing, watch out, because Cramer, I don't know how the guy has been on that show consistently where he's wrong about everything. I mean, the guy is just a walking danger to people, just saying, like, hey, whatever I say, do the opposite. Of course, we see a lot of that in a lot of places. We see that in the mainstream media. Usually if they're talking one thing, it's usually always the opposite thing. We've become very aware of how they actually work, and we have seen that over time. XRP Plumbing, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Jeff is not going. I've been trying to tell Jeff to register, and Jeff is not registered. I sent an email. I think I did this over a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, when they announced it. You had to do an application, and I did the application, but I just got notified 2 days ago about it. So, and already paid and there was also a really nice thing they did, which is they give you a nice discount on the entrance fee, which was great. I mean, they didn't have to do that, so I felt like that was an extra, limited time type of thing, but I thought that was a really nice thing. But thank you for that support, XRP Plumbing. I'm trying to get Jeff to go. I just did ping him, like, hey, dude, I'm going, so get registered. And, well, I don't know what Jeff's done, if he's got registered or not, but I tried to explain it to him, Yeah, that's right. He is a jinx for sure. He definitely is a jinx. Need a rate drop for the liquidity. Agree with that as well. But I think, it's funny that Trump is telegraphing September. He keeps talking about September. I don't know if, Powell maybe kind of gave him a heads up, but it feels like, and what's the website that predicted accurately the presidential winner? They have it at like 85 or 95%. You guys will know the site. I can't think of it offhand, but I saw something where they had 80% that it was going to be a rate drop in September. So there seems to be some good, at least good feelings on that. Who knows? But there really should be a drop, Yeah, Cramer is a jinx. Yeah. So it could be good or bad either way, but yeah, he is quite the jinx for sure. And what else do we have here? What else do we have in the grab bag here? Oh, Wrath of Conman put this up. I always liked following him because he's always has his finger on the pulse of what's going on. A lot of times you miss this stuff if you're not following it. But he's talking about Baselite here, which is a brand new tool that lets you search and analyze anything on the XRPL when it comes to data, using standard database tools, and it makes the XRPL more accessible for businesses who are looking for clear reporting, compliance checks, or even insights on chain activity, useful for enterprise-grade data tooling. Very cool. And then let's talk a little, we'll break down this thread a little bit. Baselite. The XRPL just got a major analytics upgrade, structured SQL native access to ledger data is now available on Baselite, thanks to XRP Scan and XRPL Commons. The XRPL community now has a clean, queryable data without custom infrastructure and no blind spots. So let's break it down here. The XRPL is run error-free for over a decade, creating a massive trove of data to be queried and explored. Now with native AMMs, identity new native stablecoins and cross-chain bridges, the XRPL is expanding into utility and data. This means that there's going to be easy access to the XRPL data, and it's really absolutely essential. Now, they wrote a whole blog post, but I'm going to stick with this here because they break it all down in a nice, succinct way. We're working with XRP Scan to deliver new data experience by fully indexing XRPL data into clean, structured tables. Now, if you're familiar with data and if you're familiar with structured versus unstructured data, obviously structured data a little bit easier to query. Unstructured becomes a little bit of a nightmare if you've ever worked with data. But what's making that a lot easier too is AI is trying to make sense of it. However, there could be a lot of errors when it comes to unstructured data, just because it's trying to make sense of the unstructured data. But putting these in tables now makes it, the ability to query it. And if you're thinking about going back and looking for trends like 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, this is a massive amount of data that they're going to put into tables and create the structured data out of it. And the integration brings the XRPL data into their data analytics engine and the catalog. And then it kind of like goes with chains they already have, which is Ethereum, Base, BNB, and 50,000 other data sets. So what's going to be possible? You'll be able to have, AMM pools. You'll be able to look at validator behavior, take a look at the token metadata. What's the network health look like? What are some of the well-known accounts doing? Account balances and more. So it's a pretty cool thing that you're going to be able to see what's going on. You can see here just this little example here. The green on the bottom is the daily AMM transactions. Then you've got the XRP locked and AMM, which is this blue line over here. So you can see it went way up here, right around November of 24. And then it's kind of been pretty steady. The yellow line over here is active AMM pools. You can see that's kind of like skyrocketed. This is what we want crypto to do right here. Any crypto, just fly up there like that. So it's pretty cool. Here's a few quick examples of what you can do with XRPL data right now. So you can join XRPL data with Ethereum or macro data. You can research native stablecoin volumes like Ripple's USD stablecoin. You can monitor validator health, fork community queries, remix them, run compliance on ecosystem reports, analyze XRPL DeFi activity, all in a second. That's pretty amazing. And it's wild that it's been this long since you've been able to do this. Usually people would have to get the data and try to do it themselves. So this is really a phenomenal new addition. So if you think about why does it matter? The XRPL is evolving fast. You got your AMMs, your Ripple USD bridges, new apps expanding the ecosystem. Accessible data unlocks new opportunities for builders and analysts to move further and innovate faster. And this integration gives devs, traders, and XRP Army the tools to build, track, research anything on the XRPL. And I would imagine that too, having the structured data, people will be able to put together some really simplified charts. You'll be able to take a lot of, based on what you're querying or what you're putting out there, you can create a lot of cool probably posts out there on X that would make it a little more palatable, because it depends what you're looking for, but I think that's going to be sort of a huge thing. And if you look at this chart right here, you can see payments totally dominates at the moment. And so Baselite isn't just a tool for discovering data, it's a full platform for working with the structured data. We talked about some of the things that they have. The visual dashboards, I think, is probably one of the biggest things, both public and private data sets, and 75 billion rows of data indexed. Indexing is another major thing. If you've ever been involved with indexing, getting stuff indexed, but 75 billion rows, that is insane. That is wild. And now XRPL is part of it. You can query, analyze, visualize the XRPL next to any data set on there. And then here we've got, if you look at this green line here at the very bottom, you can see that it peaks right around December 2024. That was right after the election. But look at this trend line. So brand new accounts, you had almost 7 million new accounts coming in, 7 million. And the cumulative accounts are this blue line, trend line right here. You can see that kind of just gradually goes up, but right around the time where you saw a peak, right around December 10th, 2024, you see there were some other hits in there too, right around January 18th of 2025. and then it kind of like slides down again, but you're starting to see some more activity again, where it's starting to trend up over 2 million accounts, right there. So this is pretty cool. They say they're just getting started. If you build on XRPL, want your data index, or you want to collaborate on research dashboards or queries, reach out or dive in now. This is pretty cool. Let's see. I don't think I clicked on this link here. It's just talking about the data itself. So anyway, I think that's a pretty cool new development. And again, it's more enterprise grade level, where you're going to be really more concerned about. If you're a business, you're going to want to know a lot about what's going on. So I think that's going to be a sort of a big deal. Big deal. Let's go back over to Polymarket. Thank you for that, Chad. Polymarket. Yeah. Chad, can you do me a favor and look that up? Can you look up Polymarket and what they have on the rate cut? Tell me where that's at. I would love to see that. Jim D says, caught in a crazy intense lightning storm yesterday while trying to get back to my condo marina after a refuel. Only 5 inches of visibility, flying blind. Oh man, that's nuts, man. That is crazy. Yeah, Florida has crazy torrential rainstorms. People think, oh, a storm. I'm like, oh, that's summer in Florida, man. But that seems like a little bit worse than most. Joe Buddy says he was in a squall off the coast of Spain where there's zero visibility, screaming at the top of your lungs, could not hear from 3 feet away, ripped a stainless steel roller furling. Man, there's a lot of wild weather going on lately. Have you noticed that? Carmichael in the building. Jim D says, yeah, Joe, getting close to nature can be life risky when Mother Nature's in angry mood, doing house cleaning. Yeah, that's part of it. So they say those hurricanes are to sort of mix up the oceans and some kind of a cleansing type of thing. Then we had that massive earthquake in Russia, and they were thinking there would be super big tsunamis hitting to the west coast of the United States along with Hawaii, but I don't think it ever really panned out. I think they got some waves, but I don't think it was as big as people expected, which is a good thing. Luckily, they were sounding the sirens, and there was quite a lot of advanced warning about that. But that was like an 8.2 or something. That's, I mean, a five on the Richter scale is big, a 6, a 7, but an 8 point something, that's a massive. And I saw a lot of videos for that too. People are just in their houses, things start falling over. What was amazing was they're shooting video. I'm like, get out of the house, man. It's like, you don't know if when this house is built, if it's going to collapse. They're sitting there filming the bookshelves falling over and screaming. But I'm like, no, head outside. I was in an earthquake. I was traveling for business. This is many years ago, but I was traveling. I was in Palm Springs actually, and I was staying in one of these Airbnb type condos, and I felt like there was a rumble, like a rumbling sound. I thought I didn't notice there was a train close by. And I was like, that's not a train. And all of a sudden I saw a crack in the wall, and I'm like, I ran outside. I'm like, nope, get outside. And it wasn't a tall one. It was like, it's just a 2 stories type of like those condos. It wasn't like a high rise, because then you got to run pretty far. You don't know what's going on. Those are usually built pretty well. But I got outside and I was like, oh my God, it's an earthquake. I was in an earthquake, 2 little mini earthquakes in Peru, and another one in California. And people always say, well, I would never want to live in Florida because of all the hurricanes. I'm like, well, hurricanes, 5 days, 6 days, something's developing, maybe even a week ahead of time. It could be coming your way, 3-4 days, the projections. An earthquake just happens. There's no advance warning. It's just like, boom, the place is going off. So, you could juxtapose those next to each other and see which one is stronger, which one you think is better. I mean, it's a crapshoot when it comes to that. But man, I don't know. I've been in earthquakes and there's no advance warning. It's a little bit of weird. And Jim D said, I've sailed. I had a yacht sail off Gibraltar. It was so intense. U.S. Navy was not even out. Yeah. And I've gone by there on a ship before, right by Gibraltar. It's a really cool scene, because when you're going through that strait right there, you can see Gibraltar on one side and Africa on the other. It's pretty cool to actually see it. You always look on a map, but it's actually cool to actually go by and actually look at both sides. You can see Africa in the distance, and then you can see Gibraltar and Spain. So it's pretty freaking cool. Hurricane lightning storms are nothing to deal with. It's the heat and swamp ass with the humidity that sucks in Florida, plus all the transplants from everywhere else. Yeah, mostly from New York. The people from New York left their city because they hated it so much. They hated everything about it. They didn't like the high taxes. They didn't like the oppression. They didn't like the crackdown. All this stuff that was going on. To go to Florida, the free state of Florida, that's a red state. They moved from a blue state, which is liberally run, to a red state, which is run by conservatives. And then what do they want to do? They want to vote for those moron liberals again. So I'm like, you left what you hated. You left California. You left New York to go to Texas and Florida, and you want to bring that nonsense with you? Get out of here, man. Get the F, you know what, man. The massholes too, yeah. That's exactly right. Well, all of them from the Northeast there, man. You can, Rhode Island, name all of those states up there, Connecticut, they're all the same, man. Once you take that whole northeastern from New York up, it's a mess. Maine, it's all there, man. It's all there. I am preaching, man. But who doesn't disagree with me? I mean, my God. And I grew up in New York. I grew up in Western New York. But I always tell people, yeah, I can go off on New Yorkers because I am one. They go like, you're not a real New Yorker because you didn't grow up in one of the boroughs. This is how these people think. They actually think they're entitled because they live in a crap hole that never has seen a pressure washer. I don't think they sell them in New York. I don't think people have used them. The buildings are so damn dirty. They haven't been pressure washed in 50 years. There's just dirt and soot everywhere, man. The streets are dirty. And it was funny when I was at the proper party. I was walking back to my place. I was only staying 3 blocks over. And I was walking back. Nice night. A lot of people out from the proper party. September, nice weather. It was cool. Maybe like 60, high 60s, low 70s. And I saw something on the corner of my eye. And I saw something moving. And I looked down. And a rat, a freaking giant rat, just came out of a building, walked right over my foot. I guess I'm walking right over my foot and kept going. And I just stopped like this, and I was just like this. I was like looking at the thing, and a guy was coming the direction towards me. He goes, I saw that. He goes, I saw that. Welcome to New York. I was like, yeah, welcome to New York. Rats the size of freaking small dogs. My God, it was huge. Nelson says growing up in Hoboken, New Jersey, across from New York was an experience I'll never forget now. You can't even afford to park your car if you have one. That's a good point. It is crazy expensive there. I do love New York. I goof on it a lot, but I do love New York. It's just that sometimes you can take it in small parts, like you can't, if you spend too much time there, it starts to wear on you a little bit. But again, where are you going to go for great restaurants, the great things to do, yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning is still going off. And New York never sleeps. It's that kind of a place, but I just feel like they could probably clean some of that stuff up once in a while and make it a little bit better. And that certainly couldn't happen soon enough. This guy, I don't know who HandyAndy is, but he put this out. HandyAndy, I saw this. He's the founder and developer of the XR Mine and the Little Ledger project, hardware software engineer with a passion for emerging technologies. He said, this was one of my favorite moments from the boot camp. He went to this XRPL Commons. They had a boot camp, a core dev boot camp, and they had the opportunity for students to talk directly with David Schwartz, the founding core developer of the XRP Ledger and chief tech officer over at Ripple. And he joined on Zoom at XRPL. So HandyAndy was recounting one of his favorite moments. He said, He said, I had to ask David Schwartz about the early days when he first built Rippled. And the response really hit home whilst we were all there in the thick of it. At the time of the lost ledgers, they were too busy building on what they thought would be a public testnet. Soon after, it had a price and there wasn't really anything they could do. At that point, they recovered what they could up to the ledger sequence 32569. Thanks for sharing, David. That was legendary. So it's kind of cool. You get a little tidbit and someone, if this doesn't get put out there, we never even hear about it. So it's cool that HandyAndy let us know what's going on there. The Ripple kind of teased this a little bit in the open too. The Ripple OCC banking license applications now available. It has a public release, and Ratha Common breaks it down here. He said, first, and maybe obviously, Ripple is applying to charter a limited purpose OCC regulated national trust bank. This would enable custody of Ripple USD reserves and operating regulated infrastructure for tokenized finance and maybe future Fed access. And he's highlighting it right there. He also said, so it will not be retail. The CRA says it doesn't apply to national banks, that don't engage with any lending or deposit taking activities and whose business consists exclusively of fiduciary activities. No deposits or lending, strictly business to business banking and infrastructure. Probably obvious, but if you thought it was going to be a bank that you could utilize, the Bank of Ripple, that's not what it is. It's institutional only. So, which is kind of what I figured, but it's good to get some clarification on that now that he's gone through the whole entire application. Carlin goes on to say this trust bank is explicitly built for Ripple USD. Notice no mention of XRP here. Conjecture, it behooves Ripple to distance XRP from the bank's regulatory application to avoid conflating an OCC-supervised trust bank with a token at this point. And that said, nothing precludes future XRP integrations. I agree 100%. You don't want anything hanging up a possible application by including crypto. If you notice, the first legislation to go through, was it the crypto legislation we were waiting for 8 years? No. Was it stablecoin legislation? Of course, because stablecoins most of it is tied to the US dollar. That was a very big concern for this Trump administration as well as Congress. That's why we saw that move to the front of the line. And here, having the stablecoin Ripple USD or RLUSD for short makes a lot of sense because people will be like, well, it doesn't say XRP. Well, it doesn't have to. And they're focusing solely on the stablecoin at this moment in time. And it's interesting because it means that Ripple Labs owns the bank, issues their own private stock to the execs. It's also interesting that it's confidential. A friend remarked that this is common for businesses interested in IPO. So I don't know what that acronym is. YMMV. Somebody will probably tell me in the chat. Don't know all these damn acronyms. Summary. We know Ripple wants a national bank charter to create banking compliance subsidiary to handle tokenization management. They're not seeking a money transmitter license or deposit insurance. If they were granted a Fed access to, they would become a real liquid infrastructure. And that kind of tells you what they're setting up to do. It tells you a little bit about the Hidden Road acquisition and some of the new clients they have access to. It tells you about the cross-border, moving cross-border payments. There's a lot tied in here, but the tokenization is the next big bastion, sort of the big deal for Ripple and a lot of other orgs out there as well, but that's going to be a real big one. This is going to give them a lot of playing power. Also, the board is stacked so far. So if you look, you got John McDonald, John Zavilia, you got Stuart Alderati, and Timothy Keeney. So there you go. The organizers, Trust Bank, ours. You got some players up there. You got David Puth. Trust Bank will have a 5-member board of directors consisting of the 5 organizers listed above. Trust Bank's sole shareholder will be Ripple Labs, a privately held corporation located in San Francisco, California, and incorporated in Delaware. And here are the docs. We're not going to go through them. Carlin already is nice enough to go through them for us. So he also was one of the first post. I like that when people, they respond to something, they don't say anything, just say they were first. And a lot of times I see people come in here and they're first. That's a little different. You're first to a broadcast, but if somebody does a post, it's a little bit different. So it's a little bit different there. Your mileage may vary. I love it. I always love that. Always disclaimers and everything, man. You got to have those damn disclaimers. What's going on with those disclaimers? We need disclaimers. Vet put this up, and this is wild. Like, this might have been around for a while. I have never heard of it before. But Vet, I was really happy to see this because I've always felt like there should be a place. Like, you can go to the XRPL docs, you can go here and there, but this, whoever put this together, I don't know if Vet put this together or somebody else, but it says the best site to share with Bitcoin maxis who deny facts and truth about the XRP ledger. And it simply is XRP centralized. That's it. That's the site. And here it is right here, is XRP centralized. So if you think about that, you can type that in. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll throw it down there in the chat so you guys can go check it out or bookmark it yourself. And it's pretty simple questions, no cross-border usage actually materializes, so the hype about online ODL is empty. No, on-demand liquidity has facilitated real fund flows. Ripple can pick new validators anytime, so it's truly not decentralized. No, recommended validator lists are optional. Multiple entities publish them, ensuring operators can reject any undesired set. So just a lot of the things you always hear. Ripple is a private corporation, which is antithetical to open source crypto movements. Ripple's legal battles taint XRP's reputation. Stable coins make XRP redundant. No, XRP speed, low cost, and bridging efficiencies complement rather than compete with stable coins, enhancing cross-border flows. XRP has a CEO, so it must be centralized. No, XRP Ledger is decentralized. It's run by independent validators, not Ripple's CEO, who leads the company using a ledger, not controlling it. The pump and dump, missing 32,000 blocks. We talked a little bit about that in HandyAndy's question. No XRP is missing early ledgers from a 2012 bug. They don't hide anything. It's full state blocks to ensure total transparency. Schwartz talked about how that happened. So it's just a lot of gold here, man. A lot of gold, a lot of questions. These may be the questions you might even have too. So what I like about this is it doesn't go into a long explanation. It's very succinct answers, right? 1 or 2 sentences. And this is great. XRP has no incentive system, so it can't sustain a decentralized network, right? Look at that. Very simple, easy questions. You're not getting long paragraphs of stuff. So if anybody was ever challenging you and giving you some of this grief, and then I love this at the bottom. It says, is XRP centralized? No. So you got to love that as well. It's always a good thing. Good thing. So guys, you typing in Yeti. Who's typing in Yeti? I'll have to do this on the fly. We'll have to figure this out. Oh, Jim D's a good one. Vet is presuming that Bitcoin maxis can read. Well, they don't read, and they're stuck on their whatever their narratives. You could give them all this stuff, and they're like, no, it's a banker's coin. It's a banker's coin. It's this, it's that. It's centralized. Like they still can't. They're not bright enough to disseminate between Ripple, a private centralized company, and XRP, a decentralized digital asset. They really struggle hard with that. I've gotten in so many arguments with these guys, and I'm like, okay, what part aren't you understanding? So Jim, there's a lot of truth to what you're saying there. I mean, definitely reading, maybe comprehension. I think they can read the words, but comprehending it might be a different story. XRP PRV Life. Garlinghouse has said that. No need for an IPO. They have plenty of cash. Right. Most of the time, like if you look at Circle, it made all the sense in the world for Circle to go public, right? Because if you looked at their income statement, like how they earn money was like $900 million went to Coinbase. And then they made about $400,000, $500,000. Like it wasn't a lot of money. Like, and again, a lot of that income, like generating monetization, comes from the interest, right? The interest rate's high, it's good, but when the interest rate starts dropping, not as good. That gave them, and of course it opened at like $30 some, but it went way up. I don't even know where it is now, but the influx of cash for that, now they got runway, they can do all kinds of stuff, they can do acquisitions, they can build out their payment network. There's so many things available, and that's a lot of reasons. Now, the other part of it, which I think Ripple probably would shun going public, because if you've ever worked for a public company, and I've worked for many of them, you have a quarterly earnings, right? The compliance is a pain in the ass. You have to do so much damn compliance. My God, you have to, first of all, and then you got to do all the calls with, because your stock is public. So then you got to answer to the press. You got to answer to the regulators. You got to put out these statements. They got to be accurate. Like you have a full-time department. All they do is generate all this stuff. And it's a pain in the ass, man. Attend these, the earnings calls and what they're doing. And did they beat the street? Did they not beat the street? I don't think Ripple wants to deal with any of that bullshit. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they want to deal with it. They're a private company. They're operating phenomenally right now. They don't need the hassle if you think about it. Do they need that hassle? Probably not. Do they need the money? Definitely not. So why would they volunteer for the firing squad? And I'm not talking about the guys with the guns. I'm talking about the person standing there. I don't think they would want to do that. I just don't really see it. Everyone's like, oh, when Ripple, and this whole thing that happened to Link to, I'm like, people were buying up these shares of Ripple that, is like an IOU that someday, if they go public, and then you got to hold it for 6 months, if they go public, like they're speculating on speculation, not really a good move. I don't know. To me, it's like if you're an accredited investor, you can always get in an IPO anyway. I don't really necessarily see the whole dust up about why people are so worried about if Ripple's going to go public or not. They do not need the money. They do not need the hassle. So I don't think that there's any reason. I talked about this, but I want to put it up here, and I wanted to put this, guys, if you're in the area, if you're thinking about going, this would be great. It's really fun. I got to say that the proper party was a blast. It was even better than I expected. And really the best part of it, yeah, sure, it was great, seeing Brad Garlinghouse on stage. And, for me, it was great meeting John Deaton in person. It was the first time we had him on the podcast, I don't know, 6, 7 times. So we got to meet. I met him again last year in Australia. I met him. There's some other place that I met him. I'm trying to think of. But just meeting people that are like-minded, it's like people in this community, we're all like-minded, right? We kind of have the same type of groove. And that's why I could say these types of meetups, and this is put on by Ripple X, so it's probably going to be a really good party. It's, again, happens on Wednesday, November 5th. It's from 7 to 11, free food and drinks. There's going to be XRP merch. It's a free entry, but you got to be 21 or over. Registration is required. Space is limited, but you have to register. Pretty simple. But what I will say is, if you want to remain anonymous, make sure that I don't know if you can register anonymously, but I think that list will become public at some point, because I saw Ange, another XRP community member, had noted underneath here, right there, important notice: once registered, your full name will be publicly visible on the website, accessible to all attendees. You want to remain anonymous, please register accordingly. Now, here's the one caveat, though. I do know that for the proper party, I don't think you were allowed to register anonymously because they were checking IDs. There was a lot of heavy security. It was a big venue. So I don't think this is going to be that same type of venue. It was great seeing Lenny Kravitz, but the real fun was hanging out and running into people that were like-minded, running into people that you associated with for years on X, but getting to meet them in person. They come up to you and they say, hey, I'm this person or that person. Okay, great. You got to pull out your phone and kind of see who these people are. But anyway, I think that'd be great if you guys could make it there. I may go. I'm not 100% sure. Hodor put this out. This is the Zahau sort of ecosystem, and I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I kind of wanted to just but he does a lot of these great blog posts. He's really tied into the Zahau network. Of course, we know Hodor from being an XRP OG community member for many years. Guy is phenomenal. Love his take on so much. And here we go. He talks about different projects out there like Coop Remit, but let me zoom out of this so you can kind of see Zahau Doc Proof, social, they're under merchandising. You have X Merch Marketplace, you got Little Ledger, you got Zahau Socks, Crypto Man. You guys know Crypto Man, made famous when Brad Garlinghouse showed he was wearing his XRP socks in the early days of crypto, committed to producing 100 pairs of socks for sales for Zahau fans. You got Zahau lamps. You got Zamini, all this great stuff, automated treasury distribution, gaming. So I didn't realize, this is cool because I didn't realize all this was going on. If you think about it, there's a lot of cool stuff going on here. And he says at the very top of this is an incomplete list. This is just what he knows about. But who knew that there was this much activity going on Zada, or not Zada, on Zhao, what the hell is how? I can't keep all these damn things straight. Zhao, gosh, Zhao. That's it. So that's a pretty cool list. I thought that was pretty good as well. So, Jim D says, let's just hope the DeFi market makers do not get extorted into enforcing KYC or bought out by deep states, Ponzi, money thugs. Yeah, unfortunately, the KYC is going to be an issue. You're going to see KYC on anything that's happening DeFi. Just the way it works, man. Eiswein says IPO's initial public offering of stocks. Correct. That is correct. And then you have Holy Moly says, maxis have their heads so far up their ass, they'll never see. Very clever marketing. So there you go, man. Jim D says that's true. The XRPL is a weird buggered Genesis block forever etched in the ledger history, but pales to JPEG imagery coded into Bitcoin ledger blocks. That is a very good take right there, Jim D. I like that. So yeah, that's a good one. That's another thing. It's like, oh, you want to talk about missing blocks? This is the weird thing about what I was really shocked about, and it's wild to me, but because of the whole decentralization and Bitcoin, all this stuff, the actual NFTs are on the blockchain. And the problem is that it's expensive to store them there. So you have to do these really low res versions of them to crush them down. But man, when I say massively expensive, it's massively expensive. So yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about having that JPEG, those NFTs, they're stored. It's the only blockchain that does this. Every other blockchain does not store them there on the blockchain, but they do. They're etched into the blockchain. So we only have 5 Yetis, man. There's a Yeti right there. You have a 1 in 5 chance right now of winning a Yeti. I like those odds. Imagine if you had a 1 in 5 chance of winning the lottery. God, that would be so phenomenal. That would be so phenomenal. And I kind of want to get into some geopolitics part of the broadcast. If you guys know Tommy Robinson, he's an outspoken individual. He's an outspoken individual who really has gone in the UK. Somebody sent me a message and I was like distracted for 1 second. But he's really been outspoken. He actually did some time in jail, and he did not look so healthy. He was kind of like in solitary confinement. His hair was growing crazy. He grew a beard, and I remember an interview with him. Somehow they let him out. I just don't think it was a good look to have one of the most outspoken people in this sort of a jail cell. Not a good look at all. So he put out a video, and I was kind of surprised. But the more I started listening to what he was talking about, it kind of made a lot of sense. But I want to play a little bit for you. I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's kind of long, and we got to move on to some other things, or maybe I will. Let's see. But let's listen to him because, the Reform UK Party, which is sort of run by Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage, is a good friend to Trump, and a lot of the sort of political opinions that I thought he held, Tommy Robinson sort of dispels it here. So I was kind of in a way a little bit shocked because I kind of felt like I made a lot of assumptions that this was it. So Tommy Robinson lands a lot of good points. Let's listen in.
What political option do we have in the UK? That's the question, yeah? And most people would say reform. Unfortunately, I don't see Nigel Farage as an option. I see Nigel Farage's speeches about preparing ourselves for the 2050 demographical change of Islamic community in this country, and then we have to make peace with Islam. Okay? We don't. We need to stop that. That's my opinion. So as I look at what political options there were, because I'm politically homeless. There's no political party that I support. So as I'm looking, I then saw Ben Habib. I like Ben Habib. I've watched him for many years. I believe he's loyal and principled, and he's continually stood up for democracy and free speech. He stood up for me at times, but then when I sat and looked and I saw Howard Cox, many people stood up for me in Reform. They didn't know me, they didn't personally know me, but they stood up for free speech and stood up for some of the work I've done highlighting Islamic extremist rape gangs, yeah? And they lost their position. They were kicked out of Reform. Howard Cox was kicked out. Many people were kicked out. If you speak against Islam, you're kicked out of Reform. If you speak against transgenderism, you were kicked out of Reform. How can you have a political party that we believe is going to solve our problems that doesn't even believe in free speech? You can't. And do you know what Nigel Farage currently does? He laughs. Do you know why he laughs? Because if you don't like Labour and you don't like Conservatives, who are you going to vote for? If you're fed up and want to stop the boats and stop all these things, who are you going to vote for? There's no other option but him. So he doesn't care. He's even sitting there, he laughed about Rupert Lowe. He laughed about Ben Habib. You're irrelevant, all of you, because he knows there's no other party. Yeah? So I know some people will be upset with this, some Reform supporters, Reform members. Unfortunately, Nigel needs a shock, and he needs to realise that there is another political option other than Reform. And I see that as Ben Habib. I see that as Advance UK. I'm today joining Advance as a member. I've told many people I don't want to be in politics. I don't want to be a politician. I want to run a cultural movement. I want to do my journalism. That's what I've always wanted to do. But I want there to be a political option for the movement. And I hope that would have been Nigel. You saw the appeals I made to Reform. Please stop lying about us. Please stop. Just stop. Be the political party for the country. Be the political party that will stop immigration, that will do mass deportations. But time and time again, Nigel's told us he's not going to do mass deportations. He doesn't care about the demographical change to our country. All the things you think he represents, he no longer does. He's bringing in the left. He's going to be more left-wing than Conservatives. Well, that's not what this country needs. Every other country in Europe has a populist leader who's speaking for the people. We don't, unfortunately. So I'm joining Advance UK. I'd advise you to join Advance UK. Hopefully, if their membership soars, I think our movement of free speech and our movement needs a political home. And I'm sorry, it's not Nigel Farage, it's not Reform. And that is why I'm showing loyalty to Howard Cox, loyalty to all the councillors that resigned from Reform UK because of the lies Nigel told.
Okay, so there you go. So that's interesting. I was kind of surprised by that, but Jim D may have just hit that nail right on the head. He says, just shut up, plebeian, and vote for the corrupt plan A or B, then go back to sharecropping. Yeah, you know what? When you don't have the guns, you can't have a revolution. We have a revolution with knives. I mean, but I'm not so sure I'd be worried about the police and the army because they don't have guns and they don't really seem to be able to handle themselves. When I watch 3 cops get their ass kicked by one person in the tube station, I'm like, you know, that's not very good. So this is where they don't even have. I don't think they even have tasers. I mean, they're the most ineffective police force in the world. I don't think they have a standing army. I don't know even if they do. I mean, I don't think they can protect themselves. They're absolute joke all around. This is not going to end well. It either is going to be there's going to be an uprising and they're going to want to take it back. But I liken it to the Revolutionary War. You remember that they were redcoats marching 4 across in a straight line, dum, 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 and they were, you know, you had the Patriots just with a little, an old style rifle. You had a packet and gunpowder, and then you pop them in the head. They were just picking them off. You know, they were sitting in trees, and they were sitting on the side of the road, and they just kept marching along. They were good soldiers, and guess what? We have the same thing. There's a culture there of good soldiers, do the right thing, complain and yell, but do nothing about it. So it's going to take a real revolution there. I don't see anything else happening outside of that. If you don't have a revolution, Jim D's right. Okay, you can put these other guys in. The problem is Parliament is still a mess, kind of like our Congress here in the United States, is that when you have the conservative side, but half the conservatives are rhinos, Republican in name only, you know, you're just basically shooting yourself in the foot all the time. Like I was going at it with Thomas Massey. I'm like, yeah, Massey was the only one brave enough to put out at the Fed bill, but he's opposed everything else. So I'm like, dude, one right isn't going to wipe out everything you're wrong about, and opposing the will of the American people and Trump's agenda. People voted for Trump. They wanted his agenda. They went all in on that. Now, you don't have to agree with everything he does, but to not vote for anything, I'm sorry, man. You got to go. I applaud you for your audit the Fed bill, but it can't be just one thing that's going to save you if you're against the will of the people on pretty much nearly everything else. So I wanted to put this up because Tommy Robinson talked about there's this video right there. And then Ben Habib, which he was thanking talking about in the video. Ben Habib says, "Thank you, Tommy, for joining endorsing Advance UK. There's millions of politically homeless British citizens ever since the biggest vote in our history to leave the EU. The political class has turned its back on us. The vote to leave was a vote for our country, our borders, our democracy, and our laws. It was a vote against the globalist order. But we really never left the EU. Our borders remain dangerously wide open. Reform engaged, carrying the flame of hope for the silent majority, helped light the flame. Sadly, reform has lost its way. It views the contempt swaths of law-abiding British citizens, denouncing them as that lot, and we're all one lot, the British people. Said another way, we the people, but that's a very polite way to say the lot, right? Very British colloquialisms. It refused to recognize that your imprisonment last year was politically motivated. It mattered not whether Farage liked or disliked you. He had to stand for the principle of free speech and equality under the law. Instead, he sought favor with the establishment. I knew some time ago a new force is needed in British politics. Advance UK is that force. The British people no longer need to be politically homeless. All British citizens are warmly welcome to join our party. We will welcome fearlessly for our nation, culture, freedoms, democracy, and equality. Under the law, we will not falter in working for a proud, independent, prosperous United Kingdom. We are neither left nor right. We stand for a country and all its part for its people. Well, you are. This whole thing of like, we're not left or right. Sorry, man, you are right. You are either right or you're wrong, and that's the left. Let us unite with purpose and courage our future together. Anytime these people start saying, "Oh no, we're no labels. There's no labels here. We're just people who want all the best." Yeah, it happens to be everything the right believes in. So there you go. You are right. You can say whatever you want to try to attract who you want, but that's also playing the establishment. I commented and said the bigger issue is you don't have the Constitution that protects free speech, let alone the right to bear arms. Even if Advance UK wins, the next party in power will easily undo everything that is achieved, either draft the proper constitution or update the Parliament Acts to enshrine free speech and the right to bear arms. Two things that will never happen. I have that on my never will happen list. That will never happen, okay? Because if you think about the United States is coming up on 250 years since we broke away from England, right, and the king. 250 years, we celebrate next July 4th, less than a year away. And you want to know something? In 250 years, not one person stood back and said, you know what? You know something? I'm just wondering, Constitution feels that the United States, a constitution that limits the government what they can do, tells the government what they can't do, and talks about what the people, because it was drafted by the people. Not one country, over the 200 plus countries on earth, not one country thought, it's not a bad idea. Not one. And you think it'll happen in the UK? No. You think they'll ever be able to carry guns? Never. Do you think, not unless there's a revolution. If you have an uprising and they take over their country, do you see that happening? No, they're good soldiers. They march in a straight line. I would love to see it happen. I am hoping and praying it happens. I just don't necessarily see it in the cards. And I think Jim D called it. You're either vote for corrupt plan A or corrupt plan B. And that's how it works. That is exactly how it works. That's a good point too. Jeff says the actions determine if you're right or left, not what you say. Correct. That's how it works. Maybe compromise on right to bear arms, no clause or required nail clipping every month. So I love it, you guys. You guys make me laugh. It's so damn hard. What else do we have here? What else is in the grab bag? What else do we have? Oh, I saw this. Now, if you guys know Tiffany Fong, an internet personality, she put up this. Now, this is playing on the Sydney Sweeney, where the jeans, the American Eagle ad, all that stuff. She posted this, obviously generated by AI, but she said, my jeans are yellow. And she happens to be Asian, so she's making a play and a joke about it. And I applaud somebody who is willing to, what is missing largely from the culture in the US and other parts of the world, whereas if you go back 20, 30 years, the things you were allowed to say, the self-deprecating humor that used to be there is no longer there. So for you to be Asian, of Asian origin, and then say my jeans are yellow with an exclamation point, and then post a photo of you, a similar sort of a pose, I have to applaud that. And what was funny about that is somebody took that and they animated that. And let me see if I have that one. Let me see if I can find that one. Yeah, here we go. So somebody took that and posted that. Then she went ahead and posted that. Again, my jeans are yellow, but somebody posted this.
Handed down from my parents before me and their parents before them. My jeans are yellow.
Tiffany Fong has yellow jeans.
So there you go. Self-deprecating humor. You got to love it. It goes against everything the establishment is for. It makes fun of, she's making light and fun of her race, obviously, often referred to in a negative way as yellow. So this whole idea of her being able to put this out is absolutely just amazing. So I think that it's just something really, really fantastic. Yeah, and this is Eiswine's bringing up a good point. Like Don Rickles was probably one of the funniest, my favorite comedians of all time. If you don't know who he is, go back, just search Johnny Carson, who used to do a late night show with Don Rickles, and you will see some of the funniest bits ever. He just roasted everyone. He also had these roasts where he would just tear you down apart. Race, religion, none of that stuff was sacred. He would go after everybody. And it was some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see. And everything got so politically correct. We don't have that anymore. It's just gotten so ridiculous. Yeah, and also too, George Carlin died. Comedy was taking a downturn. We need more George Carlin and Bill Hicks in the world. Yeah, I agree with Carlin was phenomenal. There'll never be another one like Carlin who had such an intellectual take on humor, and his humor was so deep and effective, and stuff he talked about 20 years ago still incredibly relevant. So just an amazing. Yeah, Rickles was ruthless but funny, man. I mean, he was absolutely just you would just laugh incredibly hard. So I really have to say that I love that. And I wanted to say this, so I want to put up another video here. Let me see if I can go ahead and as I'm looking through it here, because I've got so many. Here's one. Look at this. This is how the left responded to the Sydney Sweeney video.
I definitely won't say what the most comfortable to.
What you have is her on the top. If you're looking on the podcast, she's in the top doing her thing about her jeans, and on the bottom you have about 20 different upset liberals screaming and yelling into the camera. That's not too much. I can't take much more of that. But that's pretty much how it went down. It was funny for somebody to actually compile that, but that's pretty much how it ended up going, man. I mean, there wasn't any. Now, what I have to say what I really love is that American Eagle is doubling down. Okay, look they put this up here.
Hi,
They
I'm
said
Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from
go ahead.
Spokane,
Sydney
Washington.
Sweeney has great jeans.
As well,
Is and always will
I'm
be
available
about
for
the
the American
jeans.
Eagle
Her jeans, her
Jeans
story.
Championship.
Will continue to celebrate how everyone wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone, and so they doubled down. They're not gonna change or do anything because of political pressure or whatever. But you know what? Here's the funny thing that happened: stocks soaring, okay, and the jeans sold out. Does that tell you anything? Of course, they're not going to double down. So what it's doing is sending a signal out there to the way it works. That's how it works. So.
Hi, I'm Sydney Sweeney, and I'm from Spokane, Washington. I can work as a local hire as well, though, and I'm available for the American Eagle Jeans campaign shoot.
Profile and hands, please. Thanks. We'll be in touch.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
Next.
There you go. So I don't know if that was staged like that, but it looks like an audition for the ad. I don't know if that was staged, but anyway, that was pretty funny. I love that. And I'll tell you what's interesting is that if you are not paying attention, and if you didn't see the Bud Light debacle, 2+ years later, that brand is on struggle street. Bud Light. People are still not buying it. Despite them putting up American, these commercials and macho and all this stuff. People remember, man. They're not that stupid. But look at this. How about this? Jaguar went Bud Light mode, and now the CEO is out. After a viral woke ad with no cars, no men, no clue, Jaguar CEO is stepping down. Here's how going woke wrecked one of the most iconic luxury brands. Trump coined the phrase, go woke, go broke. Charlie Gasparino from Fox Business wrote a whole book about it. This right here, copy nothing. You would want to copy any of this stuff. This is I don't even know what this is. It's like the worst student film you've ever seen. It's just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Jaguar CEO Adrian Mardell is retiring just months after launching a rebrand that looked like it came straight from Dylan Mulvaney's PR team. The ad campaign, no cars, no heritage, just androgynous models, bright colors, slogans like delete ordinary, break molds. The slogan was copy nothing. The 30-second spot featured a man in a dress, allowed gender-bending fashion, 0 actual vehicles. It wasn't a car commercial. It was a political statement. Jaguar owners were not amused. I'm showing it on screen, but I'm not going to put the sound on. But it was just a joke, man. The whole thing was an absolute joke. Live vivid. Ooh, live vivid. Delete ordinary. I mean, doing something shocking for the sake of shocking, breaking molds. I mean, it's just dumb. All around dumb. Wearing stuff that no one would ever wear. Conservatives on X torched it. Robbie Starbucks said, this made me want to sell my Jaguar. And I don't even own a Jaguar. Bud Light 2.0, they completely misread the moment, said X John. And with 47 million views in 24 hours, the backlash went global. There you go. That was horrific. Then came Jaguar's next PR nightmare, a brand new electric vehicle design that critics nicknamed the pink Batmobile. They called it exuberant. The internet called it embarrassing because it was embarrassing. There it is right there. They actually launched this, the pink Batmobile. That's exactly what it looks like. And this whole idea of tying into this madness and tying it back to that stupid commercial, a big misstep. Jaguar defended it all. This is a bold and imaginative reinvention, but car buyers don't want gender theory. They want performance, beauty, taste. They won't get it. Jaguar now only makes F-Pace crossover, no sedans, no sports cars, no convertibles. And so if I wanted a stupid crossover, I could get it from literally any other company on earth. What is this trash they're serving up now? For a long time Jag owner, I can tell you I buy Jaguar for its classic style, its gasoline-powered roar, and its unique history. Let's be clear, Jaguar is abandoned by its own customer base. High-end car buyers don't want rainbow Marxism on wheels. This is the same mistake Bud Light made, same woke playbook, same humiliating crash. Jaguar went woke, and as a result, it went broke. Let this be a lesson. The vibe shift is real. Brand loyalty has limits. Go woke, go broke isn't a meme. It's a market law. Jaguar needs to bring back the cars they always loved. And that iconic Jaguar with the iconic type, they got rid of the Jaguar. They put some goofy hand-drawn type, which is a big no-no in the design world. It's just an absolute joke. This guy Rod Martin puts out good stuff. I always enjoy his breakdowns. Always a very good thing to see. And let's see what else. We're coming up on the 1 hour mark. There's a couple other things I want to show before we go ahead and get into it. I want to show this. Hopefully we don't get any penalized for this, but this is fantastic right here. But let's listen. Let's see if you recognize any of the characters in this.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to mean
Everything you ever wanted.
in one moment,
would you capture it or let it slip? Yo,
his palms are sweaty.
knees weak,
Arms are heavy.
his vomit.
And his sweater. Ready?
Mom, spaghetti.
He's nervous.
What's on the surface?
He looks calm. And ready.
Drop bombs.
He keeps
Forgetting.
Would he
Brought down.
The whole
crowd.
goes.
so loud? He opens his mouth.
But the words.
Won't come out.
He's choking.
How? Everybody's joking. Now
The clock's run out. Time's up.
over.
Snap back.
To reality.
Oh, there goes
Gravity.
Oh, there goes gravity.
It choked,
So mad.
but he won't.
Give up that easy. No.
He won't have it.
He knows his whole.
Look, his ropes.
Don't matter.
Dope.
He knows that. He's broke.
Stagnant.
He knows.
When he goes back to his mobile home.
That's when it's back to the lab again?
Yeah.
This old rhapsody.
Better go.
Capture this moment.
Hope.
Don't pass it. Lose yourself in the music. The moment.
You own it.
You better never
Let it go.
You only get one shot.
Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime.
You better.
Lose yourself in the music. The moment you own it.
Too bad.
Never let it go.
You only get one shot.
Do not miss your chance to
Blow.
this opportunity.
Comes.
Once in a lifetime.
You better soul escaping.
Through this hole.
That is
Gaping.
this world
Mine.
for the taking.
Make me
Key is removed.
To order.
New world order. Normal life.
It's boring.
Anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what that was. I found that pretty clever and well put together. So that was pretty. So there's my girl Monica. There she is. And Trump introduced the Council on Fitness. This is great. There used to be something in the U.S. called the Presidential Fitness Test you had to do in school, and they got rid of that. I don't even know when they got rid of it. All I know is I grew up with it. But this is Trump sort of announcing that.
I'm delighted to be here with some of the truly great sports legends of all time as we formally announce the newest members of the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition.
We have an opportunity to literally change the fabric of kids' lives. And our first initiative is to bring back President's Fitness Test.
I think the time is so important. Obesity is the highest it's ever been. Mental health, as we all know, the need ought to be tackled.
Help make our youth healthy, help get them engaged in sports, and let them learn what it takes to be successful in life.
Kids are healthier, they're happier, they do better when they're out there, they're being active, they're playing in sports, they're hanging out with their friends.
Reinstill a spirit of competition and that spirit and that commitment to nutrition and physical fitness. And I'm so grateful to President Trump for your leadership in bringing this back for our country.
There you go. That was posted on the official White House account, which is fantastic. Also, what else we have here? I wanted to... Senator Kennedy's at it again. You know, Kennedy always drops these great one-liners. This is a pretty good one right here, too. Let's listen in here.
Not supposed to sign up people for Medicaid who make too much money. And I regret to say this. I don't know why, but it's human nature. Some people don't tell the truth. Under President Biden, he encouraged the states not to check income eligibility. Just take everybody's word for it. Well, you know, you've probably heard me say this before, but I trust people. But I also, when I play poker, I play with friends. They're good friends of mine, but I always cut the cards. I believe in the old adage, you know, trust in God, but tie up your camel anyway. If the president sends a message to the states, don't worry about checking if people are making too much money. Guess what? Some people are going to cheat, and they do. I wish they didn't, but they do.
I love that. Trust in God, but remember to tie up your camel. Only Senator Kennedy can come up with these funny one-liners. And then moving right across to, I wanted to talk about this. The media totally, remember how they went like nuclear on Trump's trade strategy? Well, let's watch this. This was also released on the official White House X account.
Are upsetting the entire world economy.
Tariffs
comes out of the White House, and I'm actually kind of shocked at some of the stuff that they actually put out there. It is shocking in a lot of ways, only because you're like, wait a minute, that's the official White House account? You have to say that. Charles Tomarello is pointing something out too. Joey Swell, you guys don't know about him. He talks about great gym culture. I love Joey Swell. I've tried to get him on the show a couple times because he's a huge XRP fan. He's also tried to get Brad Garlinghouse to follow him. He's like, you know, his tagline is "You need to do better." So I've been following Joey Swell for a while, and excited to say too that Joey Swell, look at this right here, follows me. He only follows 200 people out of 1.1 million followers. The fact that he follows me is like amazing, phenomenal that Joey Swell. But he says he's the CEO of Gym Positivity. He did a great video on this too, where he said there has to be somebody to point it out, and I'm not going to stop. And he's basically talking about people who are sitting there with their cameras and filming inside of, you know, gyms and making fun of people, and he goes after them. And a lot of times he gets them banned from the gym, but sometimes they double down on stupid. They find out and they go after him. Well, the left didn't like that. They wanted to cancel him. And he's having no part of it whatsoever. He does a very positive thing. He talks to the camera, always in usually his vehicle. It's his videos are fantastic. So I really do applaud what he's done. Let's see. Let me see. Watch this. See, I can't play this because, yeah, so this woman here is making fun of people in the gym. And there's a song that I can't play, which is why I can't play the video. And then she's going over here, and I can play this. So let me just go ahead and unstop this for a second. And then I will go ahead and have to reshare it. Let's see. Let me share it again so we can hear the audio here. And let's go here. There we go. And there we go. So you saw the video. Here's a girl in a gym making fun of other people because the way they're exercising. This is what keeps a lot of people from going to gyms. They don't really know what to do. Sometimes they get a trainer. But again, this whole idea of filming inside of gyms, people aren't there to be in your videos or to be made fun of. They're there to work out. They're there, and who cares? A lot of times they make fun of people that are overweight. You know what? They're in the gym. They're at least there. They're trying to make a difference. So making fun of people, he's doing a great thing, and getting canceled is absolutely pathetic. And this is what I love about this show, because it's a rabbit hole. You get to go down this stuff. But here, let's listen. So we saw the video of making fun, and it says there on screen, don't you wish we had someone to call out the bullies in the gym? Here it comes.
We do. Me. Love me or hate me, I am not going anywhere, and you are not going to cancel me. I just needed a few days to step back, to breathe, to get my mind right. And over those few days, I received thousands and thousands of messages from people telling me, do not quit. How much I help and inspire them, including messages giving me a good kick in the ass that I needed to get back up. So I am not quitting, and I am done apologizing. I'm going to continue making videos calling out bullies, being a voice for the people that can't defend themselves, and making the gym community and the world a better place, as I have done for years. Starting with this video right here. To this young woman, you want to criticize that other woman for the exercises that she does. First off, there is nothing wrong with the exercises that she is doing. You're a bodybuilder. Maybe you have different goals than her. Or is it that because you're bigger than her, you have muscle, that you think you're better than her and can treat her this way? If you really cared, why don't you go over and help her? Teach her some of those exercises. But no, you'd rather take a video of her to post online to make fun of her for likes and attention. You need to do better. Not be perfect, but you need to do better. And I really hope you do.
There you go. Joey Swell. You heard it. Yeah, thanks for bringing it up, Charles. I always love the fact that you guys are always bringing stuff up. You know, it's really good. Yeah, the presidential fitness program was intense. Used to be sore for days after I competed back in the day. I could do 60 pull-ups, but never ran fast enough. Yeah. Pull-ups were my strong. I could always run pretty fast, but pull-ups were a challenge, not going to lie. But that was a good thing. The shame he canceled himself. I like his message. Yeah, I mean, you know, when people come down hard on you and you know, you have a kind of a presence and you're doing something, he took a couple days and said, hell no, man, I'm doubling down. He's doing a good thing. And sometimes people would attack him. Like there was people that said, you know what? I saw your video and I kind of thought, you know, maybe 1 out of 10 will come back and say, you know what? That wasn't the right thing. You were right. I made a mistake. That'll never happen again. And he applauds that, right? But if you double down on stupid and go after it, he will go, he'll you know, a lot of times he gets people canceled, and a lot of people that were made fun of in these videos reach out to him and say, thank you for reaching out and letting me know. I mean, that's a good thing. So anyway, we have this 2 more videos, and we're going to go ahead and do the drawing. We'll get out of here, but here we go.
Set the way for the whole planet by committing to stopping oil.
The problem I have is this idea that the one group of people have decided that they are the ones to save the world. How dare you question us because we know what's right. I'm going to glue my hand to some tarmac and then I'm going to be a martyr and I'm going to be a good person while the rest of us can't get on with our day. I'm more than twice her age. You know, I've got kids, I've got a job, I've got an elderly mother. We have to get on with our life. I can't afford an electric car. I can't afford a heat pump. Most people can't afford that. It's about ego. There's no doubt that we've had a winter without any protests, but as soon as the sun comes out, oh, it's Eco Festival time. And it is a festival. It's a big jamboree. It's let's get on social media. Let's sit down with a placard. Let's advertise to my friends what a great person I am. While the rest of ordinary people who have to go to work can't get to work.
What's your response? I just can't believe that that's what you're saying.
Did you see that a person sitting there was like fuming? She was biting her lip, and you know that's so spot on. I saw that video, and it's like, yeah, you've deemed yourselves the saviors of the world, but no other opinions matter. This is absolutely just silly, ridiculous, and I believe that this dinner. I remember this is back in 2015. I think this was really when Trump decided to run, because this video here was when he got made fun of. He was at this dinner. I think it was the White House dinner where they make fun of the has the guy's name Ed Newman or something like that. It's a dinner where correspondence dinner where all the press goes there and celebrities go there and they just make fun of the president and blah blah, a lot of roasting type of stuff. Usually pretty soft jokes, and Trump's been at a couple of them, but this is one he attended when Obama was president, and Obama went after him, but also, you know, the guy that runs this other late night show. I remember the joke he told. He said, you know, it's funny that Trump's thinking about running for president, because I always thought he was running as a joke, you know, and Trump sat there the whole time, no expression, looked straight ahead, didn't react. But this was some, of course, you know, everybody has to do the baby Trump, baby Obama. So this is basically what happened at that dinner, but with babies, right? So, you know, babyfied them. So this is it. Now, even in this video, I don't think Trump looked around. I think that was, I remember him looking straight ahead, and we'll play that in maybe a future broadcast, but that was something. I think that was a turning point when he said, oh yeah, I'm going to run, I'm going to win.
Is here tonight. Now, I know that he's taken some flack lately, but no one is happier, no one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing? What really happened in Roswell? And where are Biggie and Tupac?
There you have it. You always run a baby Trump segment, or at least when we have it. So there it is. What does that say? Respect. Thank you for that. Respect. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. You think it's like you always hear any kind of content creators on YouTube say that because it matters. If you hit the like button, it helps the algorithm a lot. People watch videos, they don't always like it. I do it myself. I watch a video and I forget to like it. But liking it is what helps the video climb and be shown to more people. Not our videos, because we're shadow banned. We are. And nobody gets our alerts. I never get any alert of us going live ever. So if you don't know it's on, if you don't know, every once in a while, randomly, you might get one. We lose at least 10 subscribers a week. So it negates any positive advancements we've made. And that's just kind of how it works. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, people. And we've come to grips with that. It just is. We got 15 in here, guys. 15. That's not a lot. One more chance to run the Yeti. We don't have the song because Jeff's not here. There's a lot going on with show prep and thumbnail creation and all that stuff. So I'm not doing the songs. I will give away the Yetis, but I'm not doing the songs. And I'm trying to think of one to give away here. And I think, let's see. I think we're going to give away this guy right here. This guy right there. We're going to give away Schrelinger from the Blue Tribe. He is from the Shiver Spine. I don't think we've had a Shiver Spine in a while, but let me throw that up there so you guys can see what you're actually going to be winning. We have 16 in there, so you have a really great shot of winning. There it is right there. Check it out. Ready? Look at that look at the angry eyes, man. Very angry. Holy cow. So anyway, that's what we're going to be giving away here. Let's go ahead and let's go to the drawing piece of this here. Let's go to this here and let me get the tune cranked up here. Let's see. Where is the... Nope. What they did was they redid this and now I can't see. Nope. Man, I don't know. They screwed everything up. Now I can't read the titles because they're squished together. No, man. Holy cow. They totally... Well, I can't even play that because I don't see it anymore. Sadly. Nope.
And roasted beans.
Nope. There we go. There we go, people. So now let's go to this. We got 17 people in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull it, guys. Let's see what we have here. Let's go. Flatliner wins a badass Yeti. Are you here, man? Are you here? I don't know if I saw you in here, but let me know if you're in here. So I didn't see you comment, but you got to comment. You got to come in there and say, I'm here, so we know. YouTube can't handle the truth. Yigged. Come on, Chip. There's no dress rehearsal. Not dress rehearsal. Sing the music. Yeah. There you go. Okay, there you go. Mine. He called it right there. Mine. Called it. So he is here, indeed. Look at that, man. Sometimes people will call it mine. And you are absolutely right. You did win. So I'm going to need your wallet address. And I'm also going to need your X handle if you have one. If you don't, let us know you don't have an X handle. And I will be putting that up a little bit later today. So let's see here. I'm going to need that. We'll go ahead and transfer that and we'll get it going, which would be awesome. Okay, well, I don't see it chiming in. Oh, there he says here. Okay, gotcha. So, guys, let me know when he puts it up because I got to go to a different screen to be able to do this. It's incredibly annoying. This is the way it works, unfortunately. Incredibly annoying. Badass Yetis. Okay, there you go. Enough of the badass Yetis. There we go. There we go. Ray Run says congrats. Zober says congrats. Art says rigged. So rigged, man. Rigged. Mike says congrats. Charles Tomarello, the winningest Yeti man in history. Charles, I hope you're playing lotteries and shit, man. You be crushing it. Yigged. Oh yeah. Okay, so we go. Yep, got you. Crypto Whelp got you. And then there's the thing. All right, great, man. Let me go ahead and let me fish that out of the YouTube video because it is such. Let's see. All right, let me grab that. Beautiful. I've got that. Let me put that in the official sheet here. And oh, that was weird. Let's see. I don't know what just happened, but something weird happened. It pasted in a weird way. So I don't know what happened. So, man, I don't know. Anyway, there's the sheet that we have, and I can't quite figure out where in the hell the... Oh, what the hell? So I just dislike doing this so much, man. That's why it's such a drag. That's why I love Jeff. Jeff just does it. Click, 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 click. That's why it's very no good when Jeff's not here. Very big missing. We have, what are we doing here? Let's see. I was trying to paste that and it just wouldn't paste it. I don't know what the heck the problem is. Why it won't paste? Nobody knows. Some big mystery, people. Big mystery. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, this is, again, does not make for good podcast. So I had to paste it somewhere else. It starts with an RB and it ends with a, what does it end with? Something else. Okay. Let me see if we did this right. And what Yeti is this? 339. Yeti 339 is the one you're winning. And I will throw your address in there. And I will also put in your, let's see, what is today? Is today the 2nd? Yeah, it is the 2nd. 2nd, 2025. And I need, why don't I have the, okay, that's what I need. That sucker in there. Where is it, people? I do not see it. I do not see it. Okay. All right, transferring it now. There's the wallet address. Let me double check that, make sure that that's right. It ends in a MB. Okay, got it. Transfer. Let me scan it and let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see if we can do this. Let's open up Zaman wallets. Let's do a scan, people. And there we go. And you should have it, my man. It is processing, it's verifying, and it's still verifying. Where we have 4 or 5 seconds in here, and boom, it's there. So you should just let me know that you received it. Congratulations on winning that, Flatliner. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's a pain doing the show by yourself, man. No good. Thank you and good night. It's not a lot of fun. And I'm not a big fan of like giving away these Yetis because it does slow the broadcast down. But that's all the show we got here tonight. Jeff's still in South Korea. And I did chat with him. He just was in a location that he couldn't go live. We may see him tomorrow night if he's in a location because it's morning there. I want to say it's like 9 a.m. in the morning. No, that's at night. So it would be nighttime for him. I think it's like maybe 9 p.m. or later. I don't know how many hours it is. Anyway, it's a lot later there. So that's what it is. Think bigger. How much bigger should I think? Think bigger. All right, got it. Okay, boom, you got it, man. Building your army. Building your army. Thanks. You are welcome, guys. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, we all miss Jeff. It's no fun being here. And believe me, it's a lot more work for me, man. Top marks, as always. Celebration. Ow! There you go. Mike, Marath, may your day go well. Thank you very much. He's pissed. I don't know who's pissed he's talking about, but it just happens. Oh, I'm pissed. Yeah, sometimes. Think ginormous. Ginormous. I like that. I like that thinking and energy from you guys. So I really do appreciate that. I love the energy, people. It's good stuff. All right, so that's it. We'll be out. I'll be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. I think if you're in Australia, I don't know if we have any Aussie friends in here today, but that's 10 o'clock in the morning the following day. So anyway, that's all I have, Chip, and I'll still say Jeff out. See you guys in the next one.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.